around the corner, and it seems like every Halloween we deal with another issue of cultural appropriation. Actually, it feels like every week we deal with an issue of cultural appropriation,
like by the
but Halloween is like cultural appropriation on steroids.
Well, only 15 seconds into this video and I'm already annoyed. Glad that you're exaggerating about cultural appropriation being a frequent or consistent thing that just keeps on happening. And wow, on steroids, huh? My, no one's ever used that before to describe anything.
So we have some tips for you today, me and Greta McEnany.
Hi guys.
To help you avoid cultural appropriation. Things like knowing that someone else's skin is not a costume.
Well, I believe most of us know that. Not all of us are Buffalo Bill.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket.
So going in blackface, probably not a good idea.
Like a poor choice.
Yeah,
really poor choice.
Really poor choice. You can paint your skin pink, blue,
please.
green.
The only time I think it's appropriate
Gold?
to paint your skin this Halloween is if you're dressing up like Donald Trump and you want to paint your skin orange.
Yeah, that's the only exception, unless you're trying to take a jab at Donald Trump and be vindictive about it. Ugh, of course you had to bring up Donald Trump when no one asked you to. Just had to, didn't you? Couldn't help yourself.
It's the only time that's appropriate because I don't think that's cultural. I think that's just more like his personal choice.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
plus like, let's get into this a little bit more, and we'll get into some of the other like tips here. But one of the things is like I think you can satirize your own culture, right? So if you are white and you like paint your skin orange, like that's and your own culture that you're satirizing, and so that's like a little bit different because it's not like that distinction between oppressor and oppressed.
Okay, well, do we now have to go with this presupposed position of white people being the oppressors and other ethnicities and races being the oppressed? I mean, do we need to play this victim narrative now?
But once you sort of like separate that stuff out, if you are on the side of the oppressor, you cannot dress up as the oppressed and try to satirize it. Bad news bears. Another tip is reminding yourself that cultural traditions are not a costume. So dressing up as somebody else's like religious icon, Heidi Klum dressed up as Kali, who's a Hindu goddess, not a good idea. If you are not Muslim, maybe don't dress up as Muhammad. If you're not Christian, don't dress up as Jesus.
Well, I mean, at the same time, why do you jump to these conclusions with people wearing these things? Like, if someone wanted to dress up as Jesus, which people have multiple times. By the way, we're also talking about fictionalized characters here. Whether or not someone else believes in them is really irrelevant here when it comes down to the costumes. However, I'm still not going to presume that they're doing it necessarily to berate or to hate on anybody, especially when talking about Halloween. And one big point in dressing up on Halloween or just in general is to temporarily be somebody that you're not.
Like there's just little things like help you out.
Everybody's on high alert right now, like with everything going on in our world and our country. So try to just like when you pick a Halloween costume, be like, okay, like who could this possibly offend?
People can get easily offended. I personally think it's a fool's errand to try and appease everybody, worrying about who you may or may not piss off, because you never know what's going to upset or offend someone, and I understand that there's going to be some people that will take it to an extreme. But to me, this video specifically, this just seems like it's just getting angry on the bequest of others, which, since the topic of race is in this, it seems perplexing to me that Think Tank, the channel that uploaded this video, has two women who appear to be white, spouting out this condescending diatribe, and there isn't anyone of color here speaking about this.
Try it out. Like, go to friends who are diverse and be like, if you're feeling on the fence about it, ask them.
Yeah.
But maybe everybody should try to go a little bit more like neutral this Halloween instead of diving into race issues because we've had enough of that.
Yeah, racial issues, religious issues.
Yeah.
As a neutral man myself here, at least I try to be, I don't believe your positions are very neutral, especially when you're the ones making it about race and presenting this boo-hoo, victimizing, patronizing argument.
I think this is really important to remember when you're talking about like culture within the LGBTQ plus community. Like, let's not satirize that. Like,
And why is that? Like, look, I take the position of anything can be satirized, anything can be criticized, and you can do that while also being respectful. Saying people can't say certain things or putting limits on other people because you're afraid that other people may or may not be upset by it isn't a great way of thinking.
It's just, Halloween's supposed to be fun. You don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I get that everybody's like, oh, it's too PC, blah, 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 blah. But like, at the same time, like, don't be an asshole.
Well, then stop trying to suck the fun out of Halloween. Don't try to cram all these stupid rules and ideas into it and expect other people to go along with it as if it hasn't already been discussed or hasn't already been addressed.
Yeah. Like,
for example,
you can be like not PC. Like, you can just don't be an asshole and you can be not PC. You can do something edgy and cool, but don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Exactly.
I love that.
Learn the history behind your costume ideas. This is kind of what I was talking about before, looking at historical context, right? Oppressor and oppressed. That's a really easy thing to see which category you fit in.
Pretty binary.
And then decide if this is a good idea or not. Something that often comes up is like these sort of like sexy costumes, and when you're talking about like sexy geisha girls, you know what I mean? And sort of, I can never say this word, so I'm gonna try it. Fetishizing? It's a really hard word for me.
Fetishizing.
It's a hard word. The fetishization.
Oh, there you go. But you can say that word.
Fetishization.
Yeah, not to be a dick or anything, but this is where you edit this part out. Like, have her practice that word and have her come back to it. Just saying. Saves you a few seconds of awkward, forced dialogue that had to be here. Your improvising skills could use some work.
Of Asian women and their culture and and the way that like geishas were treated and like, you know, being more conservative and sexual and all those kinds of things perpetuates a lot of stereotypes that are really offensive for a lot of Asian women. So don't do it.
Well, welcome to 2017, where practically everything is fetishized. I mean, what's the point? Now you need to police people for sexualizing costumes now, too?
Don't be a sexy Native American. Don't be a sexy Eskimo. Like, be a sexy you.
Yeah, you go, girls. Continue to keep telling people what they can't do, because people always love it when they get bombarded on the do's and don'ts, especially when it's over something as trivial as someone's costume.
You know what I mean?
Be a sexy you and just like be thoughtful, right? Like, I will never forget in college, my boyfriend at the time was like, I want to dress up like a ghost. And he was like, it'll be simple. I'll just get a sheet, put it over my head, and put like 2 holes in it. And then he did it and he put it on and we went, you look like a Ku Klux Klan member.
Could you not tell the difference between the two? Are you still not able to? I'm assuming not. Like, if your boyfriend was keeping it simple, I assumed he dressed like this from what you were describing. There's some drastic differences here, most notably the lack of a triangular shaped head and the insignia. Also, you can see that Klan members have sleeves, but you know, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I shouldn't be making such obvious observations like that. I should be like you two and be dim-witted about it, going to quick conclusions and seeing racism.
And we were like, no, bad idea, abort. It's just like, you might have good intentions, right? You probably have great intentions, but like,
Ghost is funny.
Just
like boom.
Think. Yeah, but just like think about it. He was just like quick fix, and then it ended up just being horrible, and we scrapped the whole idea and did something else. So like, I think we turned it into a toga. I think we wrapped the sheet into a toga and we're like, oh, you're like Greek, whatever.
Whoa, back up there. What?
I think we wrapped the sheet into a toga and we're like, oh, you're like Greek, whatever.
You just fucking admitted to appropriating another culture. By your own logic and your own narrative, your solution to the problem was to appropriate another culture. Togas are of Roman and Greek culture. Again, by your logic, you didn't even follow your own fucking rules. Holy shit, this is stupid.
What a great tradition. That's perfect.
Kind of basic, but whatever. But yeah, just think. Just everyone use their brains this Halloween.
Yeah, and I think, look, like I understand that it's a learning process, right? Like I think when I was younger, like I dressed up as Pocahontas, right? And you know, like it just wasn't in like the
zeitgeist. Like your parents weren't thinking about it. We were like strong Native American women. Our parents were like Pocahontas. Like,
exactly. We just like weren't thinking about it. And so now we have the opportunity to think about it. We're talking about it and having these discussions. And it's really important to like have these discussions with your friends, have these discussions with your partners where you're like, hey, Like, is this okay? Is this not okay? And if you dress up as something and somebody like accuses you of cultural appropriation, don't like get defensive.
Just be
like,
them.
yeah, just be like, oh, I
why
didn't
do you
even
feel that way?
understand. Yeah, exactly.
It's about hearing different opinions and different voices, which we have not done for a long time.
Oh, really, really now? Not listening to different opinions and voices. Funny, despite how progressive our societies have been growing in recent years. And the only way that could really happen, of course, is by communication and hearing differing opinions and voices. God, this fucking video, this worthless, meaningless trash of a video. I'm sorry to be so derogatory, but I'm sure you can see why this video has gotten over 6,000 thumbs down by this point.
Really good
So
point.
this Halloween, go find somebody who's different than you and go talk to them.
What are you gonna be for Halloween?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I just ordered like a skeleton body jumpsuit off of Nasty Gal because they had 50% off sales. So I did that to kind of be lazy, but like, I don't know, I might resurrect. I was Tanya Harding one year.
Wow, such riveting and stellar conversation going on here. The rest of the video is just them rambling and dribbling about costumes.
I was Miss Incredible one year. I have a full-on Miss Incredible bodysuit. I love bodysuits. So if you want to borrow that, it's like all spandex and I made it and it's really cool.
Oh wow, you are intense.
Yeah, so at this point I can end the video here. So I have a question. Whose idea was it to make this video and who thought it was a good idea? Seriously, this was an appalling video to sit through. Well, after that I could use a nice relaxing lobotomy, wouldn't you agree?